live stream today, and we will be looking at a number of options for what is the best camera, or what camera should I get, what is a good camera. Loads of questions out there, especially if you're new to this, because what will happen is you may see a number of camera options and you may think, is that the right camera for me, or should I wait and get a better camera? Well, what I'm going to do today is cover this topic with you and share some options. I think you'll find it very interesting because there are loads of cameras. Now you'll see I've got a nice selection here. So how we'll work this is we will check between these and see if these are the best of the best of the best, and we'll take it from there. So let's have a look over here and make sure we are perfectly good today. At any point if you have questions, I am here live so we can answer questions. And let's check over here. Beautiful. Everything seems to be fine and dandy. I'll bring up the chat window for us here, and we are going to be looking at a number of cameras, so be sure to drop in chat. And I have just thought I need to add some subtitles onto here, so let's add some subtitles, shall we? So this will be live and the subtitles will also be live, so that'll be very interesting to see us get live subtitles. Okay, here we go, and hello and welcome. There we go, there's our subtitles. So now this is quite an achievement, getting live subtitles as you speak, which is what's currently happening here. So that's a nice little setup there for you for your viewing pleasure, and that will be working as such. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So that is working its magic for us today for the subtitling. So if you're unable to listen live, you can catch up on the subtitles there, which should be appearing as I speak. Yes, and you might get some of what I say not fully accurate, so be careful with that. So without any further ado, what we'll do is get on to the first topic, and that is obviously the cameras. So we're going to look at what cameras are available, what are good cameras, what are not the best cameras. Let's just have a look here and make sure we're good. Okay, there we go, both online, and we should be perfect. Just make sure we're fully okay there. Yes, we are looking at a number of options, so hang about, we will be working through these. So just going to make sure we are all okay and the subtitles are working for you. If you have any questions at any point, drop them in chat. We're going to slowly build up to this. We'll have about 45-minute session today where we'll look at cameras and the best camera options. So let's just work over here and see if we're good. Okay. Okay, and we should be just perfectly fine there with our subtitling. Yep. Okay, where we go, what we got here. Oh, perfect, that's fine. So okay, I just wanted to make sure we were live in all locations, and it appears we are, which is excellent. And I just want to make sure I've got sight of chat as well, so that's very important. Okay, close that down there, and we're perfectly fine. So there, yes, and we've got a little Restream logo up there as well. So let's continue, shall we? Perfect. Okay, so I won't need that, and there we go. Okay, so let's have a look at these now and get the best options there. So we've got our subtitles, and yep, perfect. There. So we will start. What time is this now on here? So I can update this for you. 4 minutes 55. What we'll do is we'll start at bang on 5 minutes. So we got a nice start with you. Hello and welcome to today's show. I will be hosting live and talking to you about cameras. What is a good starter camera is today's topic. I will be having a look at a few options for you to help you with this, and I'll move your subtitles up a little bit just so you've got full sight of the subtitles here today. They will help you if you're currently thinking about cameras. So let's look at the first option. If you were looking for a camera, which of these would you first draw your attention to? So we've got a number of cameras here. We've got a big DSLR camera. We've got smaller ones as well. And those are all options to help you in different scenarios. So we'll look at the differences between these cameras. It's very important to see why one camera would be better than another camera. A lot of people use their mobile phones. I've got a new phone I'm testing here. It's a Paco phone, 65 megapixel camera. 65. Did that pick that up? I don't think it even picked it up. The current software we have should be captioning, and there we go. Let's go there. Yep. Okay. So 65 megapixel. 65 megapixel. I'm quite impressed at the capability of that to live transcribe what I'm saying. There will be some words it'll make a mistake with, but we'll let it pass because obviously it's a live stream today. So what we'll do is move that out the way, kind of there, maybe. So yeah, this first option is going to be getting us set up. So going forwards, the live streams will be straight into topic. And let's go and check on the cameras then. So, okay, no more messing about. We are good. What we're going to do is cover the cameras. So if you have any questions at any point, drop them in chat. I am here live, so I can pick up questions and help you if you're struggling. Okay, James, hello. Thank you for your comment there, James. So at the moment, I am live streaming about cameras. You will need to get in touch with support. So if you contact them through your account, they can help you there. So we're not directly associated with Amazon. We actually do additional items separate to them. So I think you may not be in the best place here. So sorry, I can't help you there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll look at the camera options here for you. We've got the cameras here which are a number of different scenarios. What does that mean? Well, with that one there, it's a small camera. Now, if you were looking at starting in photography, what is a good camera for you? We can help you with that today because I'm going to show you a few examples. We're going to walk through this step by step and say what I'm thinking basically. So it'll help you understand the different variances between cameras, why a camera like that designed for kids can still be used to take photographs and video. You'll be surprised that this camera is a 20 megapixel camera. It's got capabilities of taking photographs up to a large size. Will they be good quality? That's questionable. Now, the quality will be down to how you perceive it. However, you will be able to see a number of options that allow you to take video as well. So this actually takes video at 1080p. So video files, actual video. So there's a small sensor in there. So we'll put that aside. We've got a mobile phone here today. The mobile phone has 65 megapixel sensor. This camera has an 18 megapixel sensor. I'm going to explain about sensors in a second. This one here has 22 megapixels. So why would I use a 22 megapixel camera on a DSLR when my mobile phone has 65 megapixels? That's something worth thinking about. We'll cover that today because as a starter camera, the main question people will ask is, why should I change from my mobile phone to a camera? What's the benefit? So that's a good question. A lot of people ask that. And let me just make sure we're okay here. Yep, perfectly fine. So I'm keeping eye on chat as always. I am live today, so helping you with cameras basically. That's the topic of today. So what we'll do, we'll look at camera number one as a starter. So if you went online and looked for a starter camera, what would you find? Well, I've done that for you. Let me bring it up. So if you bought up a camera, let's say you went to Amazon and you were searching for a camera. Let's go and show you a quick little view of that, which will be and studio mode, and let's just make sure I can show you the screen. And there we go. Let's transition between that screen. Perfect. Okay, so right here I have a camera that I'm showing you. This is a camera. If you went onto Amazon and typed in starter camera, you get a camera like this. So what are the benefits of a camera like this? Firstly, we will look at the description. The description gives you a lot of information in cameras. And I noticed I don't have my subtitles on this screen. So let me bring up my subtitles for you. Just like that. So you should be able to read and see what I'm typing now. Or saying, which is being typed for me. Okay, so this first camera we look at is a Canon PowerShot camera. You can see it's a digital camera. We've got information here telling us what camera it is. You've got an extra bit of information here saying optical zoom. So the main things we're going to focus on is the type of camera. It's a digital camera. Good. It's got optical zoom. So why would optical zoom matter? So if you're looking for a camera for photography, or you're looking for a camera to take outdoors and do some photographs which are further away, so for example if you're doing some wildlife photography maybe, this camera will offer you optical zoom. What is the benefit of optical zoom? So when you think of optical zoom, what that actually means is you are physically zooming in via a lens. So if I use this lens as an example, now if I was to do that, you'll see the element in the front moved. So there's a physical movement there of the lens which actually magnifies the the view. Magnifies the view you're seeing. So that is a better form of magnification because it's a physical movement or shift of an item from the lens to the sensor. Let me show you a top-down view of this so you know what I'm saying. So here you can see the sensor is distinguished by that little mark here. So the sensor's back here. So the camera has extended its capability by moving. So that movement allows you to get the sensors staying the same. The quality on the image is the same. You've just magnified on the front what's being sent to the sensor. So that's the difference of optical zoom. It's optically done. So I'm going to cover this from like a starting point of view so you pick up every bit of information along the way. So in that sense, it's a great option because you're going to get physical improvements in image and ability of zooming. So that's why this camera that we're looking at here is an optical zoom. In the flip side of that, what would be the opposite? The opposite would be digital zoom. A lot of mobile phones have this digital zoom feature. So you got a camera on the back, but you physically pinch and zoom in. What that actually does is it's zooming in on the picture you've taken. So think about it stretching out an image, how you lose the sense of how well it took the picture, if that's a good way to explain it. So it's basically going to make it a lot nicer. I'm going to keep an eye on chat in case anybody asks any questions. I am here live again, so hello, thanks for joining. I appreciate you dropping in, and I'm taking questions from chat at any point. So if you have any questions, let me know. Let me actually get up one on my phone so I can see the chat. That might be a good option. Okay, so that would be there, and let's go and get up another window to keep an eye on chat. I'm sure questions will be dropping in as we speak today. Yep. I was hoping they will all come into one window, but it's possible that they may not. So let's bring that up and I'll keep an eye on that chat. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yep. So I've got a capability of watching both chats there. Actually, what might be good is if I comment. Let me see if you see this comment. Hello. Post messages somewhere. Okay, let's make sure I type in the right way. So, hello. Live today. Let's see if you see that. Okay, so that's gone there. Okay, perfect. So I was able to reply in chat. This would be a nice point to make sure I can respond to any questions as well. And we have got that perfectly fine. Got that there. Okay, so that's a great look at keeping your cameras in mind when you're shopping for a camera. So next up, we're going to look at, we looked at the zoom, We looked at why optical zoom is better than digital zoom, because we're stretching the camera in a digital zoom. So when you stretch in, however, it's worth mentioning, some people that will have fancy phones will have multiple lenses. Let me zoom you in on this and explain what I mean by that. So you can ignore that little metal plate. That's designed for car holders. So it's actually magnetic. So you can put it on your car and it'll hold it in place. So you don't have to physically have holders. So here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lenses there, and then one light in the corner. Why is that good? Why is that bad? So actually, in this example, you've got a dedicated lens for multi-use. So in the camera, you can select between the lenses. One will be a wide lens and it's dedicated for that. The second one will be a zoom lens. So actually, it's going to be pre-zoomed to a set destination, but you're not pinching to zoom in, so you can get better quality images. Again, there's small sensors, so it's relative how we define better, because you might think something is good. However, if you wanted to use that for publishing or printing, you'll quickly notice the differences between those. But mobile phones have come a long way, so they are actually very good now. So you can use them in multiple ways. So do keep that in mind if you are thinking about cameras. Your specific purpose is going to be very important. So what the camera will be intended for and the use of the camera. In addition to that, we are looking at the cameras today. So we've got one here, then we have got an additional one here. Why would you look at one camera over another camera? Well, that's going to be interesting. That's where the party starts. So now let me see if I can give you a nice, easy explanation of this. I like to cut things down to the basic level to be able to allow you to understand the difference. So that camera there is close to maybe $2,500, so about £1,800 in the UK, and you've got about $2,000 worth of glass on there. When I say glass, I'm talking about lenses. A lot of people tend to call them, just out of ease, that a lens is glass, because I think it's just trying to be fancy to give it a name, but it's basically the lens. So this allows you to take the lens off. You can see there, I just did that, and that will mean the camera can be changed by the lens you're using. The type of view of the photo, how it feels, how it looks, will all change, because you can have an ultra wide view, you can have a zoomed in view, you can actually use it in loads of ways. And you'll know I do like my lenses and photography, so I've got loads of lenses that are different sizes and they give you different views. We'll cover that in a separate live stream. I think I'll keep one dedicated to lenses to avoid confusing you, but today we're looking at the main first thing that you're going to do. What is a good camera? Which camera should you buy? So again, with these, it will determine what you're doing with them, but I'm giving you a general holistic view today. So over there, if you got kids and you're interested in getting them into photography or in a hobby, and you've got little cameras like this which can actually take photographs and take video. We were talking about these earlier. I've got a couple of these testing, doing some videos on. You'll see a whole episode on these. I tested 5 different kids cameras to see which ones are doing well, and they're all from a well-known kids manufacturer as well, so keep an eye on that one. It's coming soon. In addition to that, we looked at the mobile phone, why the mobile phone may be an option or may not be an option, as it were. And so hopefully these are coming through to you. If you have any questions or any inquiries, drop them in chat. This is an option on LinkedIn as well, so you should be able to see a chat somewhere. It's a fairly new option for live streaming on LinkedIn. However, as a beta tester, I'm going to be testing it and finding out how things are working for you. If you have any issues, it'd be nice to see what's going on so we can improve them going forward. So cameras wise, we looked at one option. We looked at this camera here. We were thinking, what about if you bought a Canon PowerShot camera? So what is the limitation there? So you'll notice when I was showing you my camera, I took the lens off. And by taking the lens off, that actually allows you, let me just make sure we're good here. Okay, yeah, it's just going between songs, I think. So yeah, so with this camera, you have a camera attached to the camera body. So it's not detachable, which means once you buy this camera, you can only take photographs in the range of the camera, which is a good thing if you just want to get started and take photographs. But if you want to progress with your camera and take better photos later on and look at different views and different lights. So for example, if you're in a darker situation, you'll want a lens that works well in dark environments. If you're in a brighter outdoor environment, you won't have to worry as much, because most lenses will be capable of handling light in sunny situations, for example. But also on the other scale of things, if it's too bright, you can get filters which come on the camera. So that's a quick overview of cameras there to help you understand what's available and what the options are. However, also I'm just going to boast about this. What do you think of my live transcribing? It doesn't always work, but it's currently live transcribing what I'm saying, which is quite an achievement. But yeah, even got the bit. Yeah, I was testing it the other day with loads of random words to see if it picks up random words. For example, chicken nuggets, chicken, polo. Yeah, time for a polo mint, I think. That's not too bad, is it? That's doing all right. It's working. It's earning its keep. Smash a quick polo in there. So what we'll do is look at another camera. So if you were looking at totally new and you weren't thinking about cameras, what would be another option? Well, here's another one. So I did the typical thing. I went over onto Amazon. I searched for a digital camera. If you're not too familiar with cameras, most likely you might do photography camera, you might do digital camera, you might do camera for photos as a search. What will come up? Well, the first camera that came up was this camera, and it wasn't a bad option. It's close to a couple of $100 so you can look at Canon PowerShot. It will do okay for most scenarios, but what about if you were looking along the lines of something small and point and shoot? So you got an option here, mini digital camera. Why would this be a good or bad, depending on how you're looking at it, option for you? It depends. So this one is a mini digital camera. It's got a 2.8 inch LCD screen. So I'm going to break down the description for you and kind of let you know what that means, because it gives you a lot of information. So we can see that means it's got a screen behind it, which is 2.8 inches. Then it's got a HD digital camera. So HD can be many things, so you want to be careful with that. Some people will call HD high definition. It stands for high definition. It could be 720p, which is high definition technically back in those days. Now 1080p is a standard high definition as well. You'll notice on social media sites they've stopped referring to 720p as HD. It's actually 1080p is HD now. So we'll see in the specs of this camera which one is actually truly HD. Let's go back over that one. And here we got kids, children's, teens, beginners, point and shoot camera. So now by those few words there, we can see this is a camera. Yes, you're right, Jeffrey. 480p. Do you remember those days? 480p video. This camera here takes more. This takes 1080p. You'd be surprised. But 480p is a high definition. Now, this high definition is going to be relative. How far in the future can they call old video HD? Because HD was the point which they went for HD televisions, and that was 720p and 1080p. Is 480p HD? I don't think it's HD. We can find out. We will do an actual live search and see 480p. Is it high def? Because the point that they referred to high definition was when the DVD standard came in. So okay, it gives you, yeah, okay, 480p. DVDs clock in 480p. So if you're looking to burn, yep, 480p disc video. Okay, let's see. Standard definition video. A standard definition video loses. Okay, yeah. So, or HD. Okay, so it's actually 480p is SD, which is standard definition. So Jeffrey, you might want to check up on that. Jeffrey Powers, unless where I'm searching isn't fully correct. Let's see, who is it? Is it a reputable source? Sproutevideo.com. Probably not a reputable source, but they're referring to 480p as standard definition. And when they jumped from, okay, yeah, oh, it stops there. It doesn't give me any more information. That's interesting. So yeah, it's not, basically, long and short of it. It's 60 hertz NTSC regions. 720p was the first. Okay, yeah, so 720p was the first time when it went to HD. Interesting. So yeah, that gives you an idea of those cameras. So let's have a look at those again. And mini digital camera, so is aimed at kids, teens, beginners, point and shoot. So that tells you quite a lot of information there. So if you're not sure, you want to look at those little things. If you're looking for holiday cameras, so things like cameras for the kids to use, I would get one of these. You'd be surprised. Let me show you the top down view on this. We have got a multi-camera angle set up here. So that would actually be better than that camera I'm showing you right now, because this is HD, it's 1080p video. However, this is going to be limiting. So why would it be limiting? You've got a memory card. Excellent. So I could technically put 128 gigabyte memory card in there. But will this camera's battery last that long is the question. And the battery is actually in the camera, so it can't be taken out. So we're having a bit of a laugh with this one, because you can technically plug in a battery bank, but then you've got an extra thing you'll have to carry with you. So interesting there. But yeah, the camera I'm showing you there is a bit better. Firstly, because you're going to be using it with a battery. But a lot of people will think, if I'm going to spend money, I want to get a camera that looks a bit more like this than like this, or a kid's camera. So that's where you're going to have to consider your budget, how much you're looking to spend, and which camera will be right for you. So if you're going to go out and take loads of photographs, then that would be all right. That's like a T7 equivalent, which is a 2000D, 4000D, one of those two you can look at. We'll discuss more about the numbers in a bit. We don't want to confuse you totally, but looking at new cameras and cameras that would be your first camera, ideally you want it to be a camera that you can use to encourage you to take more photographs. We don't want to throw you in on the deep end and get you like something too fancy, which you'll be like, do I really need it to be this fancy? Because sometimes the majority of basic cameras will do what you want them to do, unless you're specifically looking to live stream or get really high definition 4K ultra definition video. So that's where that slight difference will be in prices as well. So your main thing you want to keep in mind is how much budget have you got, and once you've got your budget set up, then you can start looking at cameras to fit within that budget. So let's use a option. Let's say, for example, I was spending 1,000 on a camera. What would I do? Well, I'll look at a couple of cameras here. Let me show you what I would do. So I start a camera. I've got it here now. I'm going to bring it up on screen there. So there is an option T7, which is also known as a 2000D in the UK. And if you're doing video and photo, it'll be a good option. One thing to keep in mind, you might be familiar with mobile phones. Mobile phones have a lot of features as standard that other cameras may not have. What do I mean by that? So for example, if I took my mobile phone and if I wanted to make a video, my camera already does a lot for me in my mobile phone that I don't need to think about. So I just put it into camera mode, start making a video. So when I'm making a video, what is it doing for me? It will firstly auto adjust the lighting. So if it's in auto mode, if you're getting a bit fancy, you can download an app, or some apps allow you to go into pro mode, which lets you shutter speed, ISO, and control those settings. So if you're already doing that, that's excellent, because you're already on the right steps to be able to upgrade or use another camera, which you can understand the settings in. Because basically those three settings are transferable to most cameras, whether you buy Canon, Nikon, Sony, any of those cameras. You understand what ISO is, shutter speed is, and aperture is. That will set you up for any camera. And then you can just decide which brand you want to stick with. I shoot a lot of Canon, and I've got a lot of Canon lenses, so I stick to lenses because I've invested in that. But soon the Sonys are coming and Panasonics are coming, which I'm going to be checking out, so keep an eye out for that. So yeah, back to topic. I went on a bit of a tangent there. So the lens will automatically adjust the lighting scenario for me. It will also, if a face comes into play, it will readjust and focus on the face of whoever's in front of the camera if you have that enabled. And that means it will focus on you and the background will become blurry. Like here, everything's blurry behind me. So that's a good thing that the mobile phone already automatically does. When you start getting cameras, some of these features that your camera in your phone does, you'll have to actually pay more money to get that in a camera. So what do I mean by that? Let me show you an example. There's a camera here. I'm going to bring up on screen. Yep. So let's do, there we go. So that is one camera. That is a Canon EOS T7 DSLR camera, slightly bigger. Mirrorless cameras are great too, but there'll be a price difference. I'll show you that. So here we've got the numbers. We're going to look at the description of this and then cover it from that. So camera with 18 to 55 millimeter lens. So that lens is this lens here. Nice and light. Most starter cameras come with this type of range, 18 to 55. That just refers to how much you can zoom in and how much of your environment shows. What do I mean by that? So if I'm showing you this view, this is a 50 millimeter view, which is about 6 feet away from me. The camera is 6 feet away from me. However, if you were using a camera closer to you, you'd want more to show. Otherwise, it'll just kind of zoom in on your face, if that makes sense. So in that example, I would use 18 millimeters. Let me bring you on the top down view there. 18 millimeters. If I use 18 millimeters and bring the camera about this distance, you'll get a nice view of everything that you need to see. And then that affects the depth of field in the view, as well as the background and how you appear. Because what will happen is, if you get a lens really close to you and put it wide, it'll basically bloat up your face. You look a bit bloated. So how to get around that is put the camera further away, zoom into your subject, which then makes it more, what would be the right word to use for that? Makes it more visually pleasing, because the lens will do a lot of the work of compression of the background and your face, or your subject, I should say, because it could be anything you're zooming in. So in that example, 1855 is a good lens, but then it gets more complicated when we start looking at numbers inside the lenses. So what do let me give you that. So now here, you've got a load of numbers there, but don't worry, we'll save that for another episode. Today, we're looking at starter cameras. So we're not going to throw you in on the deep, but at least you've heard and seen these additional things here, like 18 to 55 millimeter. So when you're buying a starter camera, focusing on things like this would help you because you get the right lens. However, you could just buy the kit lens that comes with the camera. You'll be fine in a multitude of situations. And once you start taking photographs or video, you'll quickly learn, actually, I've been taking a lot of photographs in a wide view. So maybe I should only buy a wide lens. Because if you're not using a focal length, then you're not going to invest loads of money getting like a lens that just focuses in further away. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to bring up chat here quickly just to make sure I'm not missing any messages. And yeah, okay, that should be fine. Also, I am testing a beta live stream right now. So this is a nice little session here. You should be getting live transcribing of what I'm saying. And also, I have got the chat window up, so there's various things going on here. So it's multitasking to the ultimate today. So hello, thanks for joining me. Appreciate you being here. We are looking at cameras, and we are looking at multitude of options to get you started. So the one I showed you there is close to $550 odd, well, about 450-ish quid, 400 quid. That would be a camera. You get the battery with it, charger, and the lens. So that is your starting point. Now, in addition to that, why would we not look at other cameras that would be options here? Let's have a look. Let me show you something else to kind of give you an idea of what I mean by that and why they are different. So with these, they are some basics that you can think about. So when we talked about the mobile phone doing a lot of things for you, that DSLR camera we're looking at right now, so for example, this camera, if we were to put that into video mode, how would that be different to a mobile phone? So let's look at that. Let me get rid of all this stuff. And let's get rid of that kid's camera, which is a bit of a little gimmick thing. The reason I've got this is it actually has games behind it. So when you're taking photographs and you're waiting for editing, you can actually play games on there. It's got Snake, Push the Box, and a few other little puzzle games. It's quite interesting. Okay, get rid of that. Now, we've got two things here. We've got our mobile phone and we've got a DSLR camera. First thing there, if I switch that into video mode, that camera will be ready to make video. In this camera, I'll have to physically turn it on. And when I turn it on, I'll have to actually go to a video mode. And then if I want to zoom in, I will have to manually zoom. So there's already 3 steps increased, if that makes sense. So something that you would do on your mobile phone, zooming would be, you'll just do that normally without thinking. But on this camera, you'll have to you got a display there for video mode, so video will show there. But imagine you're doing it that way. The first thing you want is a flip out screen. So these little things are worth thinking about. Some cameras that you buy may not automatically come with this. The camera I talked about won't come with this. So it's not a flip out screen camera. That's like an extra, not option, but a camera specifically designed for vlogging would kind of have that flip out screen. Or if you're doing photographs, they have flip out screens. However, this camera will then record. This camera won't autofocus on your face. That's a massive thing. If you're coming from a mobile phone and you're used to the camera focusing on things, this one you will have to actually physically turn the ring. So you have to have a dedicated person that focuses. In cinema production, when they're using DSLR cameras, they'll have a follow focus system, or they'll have a dedicated person just to do the focusing. So you can see how important that is. With these cameras, the newer cameras have got auto focusing in video mode, which is why you'll pay a bit more money for different cameras. So then I know it can seem like all cameras are the same when you look at them, because technically, if I take let me take this off. Let's take the lens off that one. Apart from the size, unless you're really into cameras, you wouldn't know. Like, come on, there. It's just two cameras. Okay, yeah, one's bigger than the other, so you'll think, oh, okay, it might be a bit more fancy. But overall, why would you want an expensive camera when you have a camera like that? So the differences in these are the sensor size. Like, for example, mobile phones have tiny sensors. So you could have a 65 megapixel mobile phone, but the sensor's tiny. So they're basically cramming lots of pixels onto a smaller, I should have put that on silent. Lots of megapixels onto a smaller sensor, which then means you're not getting the best from that. Whereas on this, the sensor's bigger. You've got bigger pixels on the sensor, which are able to get more light, and they show the picture in a different way. And that is a full frame camera. So it's a bigger sensor. You can get mirrorless cameras these days, which are also full frame. They're mirrorless because you can see in there's like a little mirror shutter. Well, the shutter's there, but the mirror. So you got the sensor back here, and then that much space is being wasted for that extra function of that mirror. But that allows you to obviously use it and get a real life view. They are electronic viewfinders as well, so that's getting too technical for starter cameras. But I've given you an overview there to help you if you're thinking about cameras, especially if you're new to them. So maybe what would I do? I would get a camera in the region of, well, it depends on your budget as well. I can't tell you that, can I? Because you would have different budgets. You may be willing to spend a couple of thousand. You may be willing to spend a couple of hundred. So you need to keep that relevant to the camera you end up buying. So if I was spending a couple of hundred, what would I get? Let's have a look. I've got some setup here that I can show you on screen. Well, that's what I would say. I'll say this. If you got a couple of hundred, rather than buy a camera like... Yeah, let me bring it up on screen. Okay, so rather than buy a camera like that, where you may not get the best results, because if you're used to a good mobile phone, this camera won't necessarily give you much better results than your mobile phone. The sensor and the size of the photographs and the megapixels will be very equivalent to a good mobile phone. The only thing that you would have is it will be dedicated for photography or for video. So in that sense, okay. But I would say if you're spending in a couple of hundred region, save a bit of money and get a camera that will make a difference, where you can actually expand on what you're already getting with the mobile phone. And that's where I look at a T7 would be a good starter. Because one, it's not, well, I can't say expensive or cheap, because like we say, we all have different price ranges. So in the region of under 500, you'll get a camera and a lens. But that will set you up to be able to get things that can make your camera better. So you can get another lens, which we'll cover in another episode, and we'll see how a cheap camera can be made to give you positive results. So I will use that camera as an example. We'll put a better lens on there. We'll do a live session where I'll take photographs. I'll show you how the photographs look with one lens, and then I'll show you exact same camera with a better lens, which will take the same photo, and then we'll see visually how that shows. So that gives you an idea about that. Hopefully that will help you. I'll call this a day. Let me just keep an eye on our chat there, and we'll do a, oh, hello. So can you suggest affordable, or do I need to spend more for a wide angle and camcorder using, okay, I'm just going to check that for you now. AA batteries. Hello, my sea prince. I remember seeing a load of messages from you, so thank you. I appreciate you always dropping in. I'm just going to catch up here and see this chat, because I wasn't paying attention to my chat, was I? I was just going on and on about my cameras. So let me check that for you now. Okay, so I'm going to catch up on what you've just said, and then we'll look at that. Okay. So can you suggest affordable 60, or I need to spend more for YouTube 1080p wide angle camcorder using AA batteries or action cameras? Main thing is that the sound doesn't go out of phase. External mic would be nice. If sound is a problem, I could use audio recorder, even better. Okay, so for affordable 60, okay, that's going to be difficult. That price budget you've set up there is not going to give you a good option, because from the basis of what you've asked for, you're looking for a camera that will get you video 1080p, and you want it to have a mic jack to give audio, so you can record audio into it via a mic. Is that right? Because if that is the case, I don't think you can do it that way. Well, you can do it that way, but you can't for 60. What cameras have you looked at so far? Let me see what you've seen, and then we can use it as a basis, because then I'll have an expectation in my head of what you're trying to achieve in terms of quality. Because some of the cameras that I think are good may be too out there for you, so maybe we need to stick to your criteria. So give me a bit more information. If you've got a couple of names of cameras you've looked at, drop them in chat, and what we'll do together is we'll have a look at that and work it out for you. We'll get you a nice little setup for you. So let's keep an eye on your chat now, because I've got this here. Oh yeah, okay, if I was looking at that, so you're looking at, let me just recap, 1080p wide angle AA batteries. Okay, so what you will notice is there's a lot of cameras out there which are cheap. They're unbranded cameras. Let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you up an example of a camera that a lot of people suggest to me, and then I won't slate it, but I'll explain why. Well, there's not a nice way of saying this, is there? Let me bring it up for you and I'll show you. Okay, so Kodak. Actually, that's not a bad option. And you know what? It might, apart from the mic, that might work for you. Let me check this. Let me bring this up. Because what happens is we have access to the current deals as well. So there's 22% off this camera I'm going to show you, which I'll show you right now. Okay, so this is a Kodak friendly 16 megapixel camera. The first thing I'm going to check is, does it have 1080p video? Because it possibly only has 720. Now it's gone down to 62, which is like 22% off. Oh, look who's there. Look who's there talking about that camera. Okay, so let's go down. Ooh, see there. They're calling 720p HD video. So you won't get 1080p here. It will work via, let me check if it's battery powered or if it's rechargeable. This is like the you'll have to go slightly older model of camera for, oh, beautiful. Okay, so right now we've got AA battery convenience. That's a good thing. I would encourage you to get rechargeable batteries though, like as in this type of thing. You'll save the planet and all that. So you can see I use these regularly. So I've got batteries and I've got a charger. The minute the batteries run out, I recharge the batteries and I reuse them. The alkaline batteries and the other ones that you use and throw away, they're not great for the environment. So when you can, or if you can, do try and charge them. Okay, so back over here. So that's ticking a couple of boxes. The thing that you won't get is the microphone. But overall, price-wise, that is not too shabby. And also it's 720p, so it's not 1080p. So when we take that jump up, let me bring chat up so I don't miss if you say anything. Okay, so Kevin, hello. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate you dropping into the stream. Always a pleasure. So I'm looking for find a camera that I can use to film a mockumentary style YouTube series. Do you have anything you could recommend? Yes, there's loads of options. Just spoil it for choice. You'll have a number of options that can be easy to use, or you can get a bit more fancy for better quality and cinematic appeal. How much do you want to spend? And also, have you looked at cameras already? Have you got certain cameras that you like the look of? Because we can look at them together and find out what would be good for you. So yes, let's do it. Drop a camera name in there or a budget you're looking to spend, and then I can find you a perfect option. And also, 1080p video, is that going to be sufficient, or are you in the 4K region? Okay, so that means you're going to be looking at 1080p video. Is audio important? Are you going to have separate microphones, or are you going to use just the video, like the camera audio? Because that's where you'll start, well, not struggling, but the quality may take a dip. I can show you a few options. There's a few unbranded cameras. Let me come back over to our my C prints. Okay, really need 1080p for video. Look at various cheap GoPros, but you have had problems. Okay, so yeah, so what's your main purpose for your video? Your wide angle. Yeah, okay. What I would say is, let's check this up here. 1080p. The A79, which I used quite a lot, that might be an option for you. It's got a mic. It's relatively cheap. That might be okay. Let me show you that. Have you looked at the Apeman A79 camera? My C prints. Zain, hello. Thanks for your comment there. We can have a look at that. Sony ZV-1, good option. Let's have a look. Let me just keep an eye on chat as well. Okay. So. Okay. Okay, ideally the audio would be as strong as I can get it with this budget at least. What's it called? Okay, let me bring it up for you, Kevin. I'll show you on screen. Okay, so yes, yeah. Okay, so let me come back here now. Okay, I've got a few here. Let me work with this. So there's a couple of options here which are like the budget non-branded cameras, which aren't the best option. But if you've got a really low budget, I might have to suggest one of those cameras for you. Let me work on this and see what we've got. Okay, we can't push your budget, can we? What mobile phone are you using, Kevin? I would say save your money, use your mobile phone. Mobile phone these days have amazing cameras. And what to do is spend your money on lights if you want to get like a really nice cinematic feel. I looked through the low budget ones and I'm worried about the lack of optical zoom. Yes. What will happen is at that price range, you'll be hard pressed to get good quality comparable to your mobile phone. I won't lie. So a lot of the cheaper cameras, you'll spend money, you'll think it's a dedicated camera, but then when you look at the quality, you're like, wait a minute, my mobile phone does better quality than this. So you might be better to use your mobile phone. A lot of people use mobile phones for video making, YouTube, all sorts of stuff. So don't let that stop you. Maybe think about lights, but if you definitely want a separate camera, then I'm gonna have to show you something, aren't I? But I wouldn't show you something that I wouldn't personally buy. So it's gonna be tough. An action camera might be an option for you, but it's gonna have an ultra wide view, which you may not want. Yeah, I reckon use your mobile phone. Use your phone, but get a couple. Let me show you what to get. I did a whole video on this, but I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so this is a holder. You can get a little mobile phone holder that screws into here, and then you basically put your mobile phone into there, and at the top you can put a light. I might even have them here. Yeah. So now already, even if you're outdoors, a little bit of light goes a long way to make your video even better. And that you can use as a proper camera. It'll make it stabilized even better than the mobile phone, because some of the better mobile phones have stabilization built in. So a light, get a stand, and then maybe a battery bank to keep it charged, and get some, well, iPhone 8, you'll probably be all right for memory. But yeah, there's a few options there for you. But yeah, you don't have to, I would say save the 200 and get up to, if you can save up to about 400-500, that's when you're going to see a difference, and something that'll be like professional, nice grade. So keep that in mind. Okay, so hopefully that helps you, Kevin. Let me know if you have any more questions, and I'll answer as we go along. I'm conscious I've got my C prints there as well. Okay, mobile phones will be cheaper compared to cheaper webcam, even non-branded DSLRs. Zain Shah, hello, thank you for joining. Okay, let me. Okay, whoa. Okay, I can bring it up on screen. Okay, 1 second. Okay, how do I hide? Okay, yeah, I'm getting used to this new live streaming software as well. So, hello M416 Prem, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Mitchin, hello. When you say best, what are you focusing on? Are you looking to focus on video or photo? Are you doing live streaming? What kind of stuff? Because I can give you a few options for lenses. But let me get back to my C prints. Let me show him, because I've been making him wait for a bit now. I've had people ask questions. Yes, Zain, drop it in chat. I'll come to you. I'll check it out. Let me go. Okay. Let me bring up. Okay, where am I now? So, okay, I want to A79. The reason the A79 is the one that I used, and I'm recalling because I had 3 of them. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the A79. It has 4K, however you can shoot at lower resolutions, 1080p. It has got a microphone port, but the mic port wasn't excellent, so yeah, it might not be the best option for you actually. I remember now because I had the A100, the A87, the A79, and the A77, A87 as well. There's a couple of models. So yeah, it's a tricky one, I think, those ones. We're gonna find you something today though, don't worry, we're gonna get you something. Okay, let me see what comes up if I do let's add a 1080p camera, what actually comes up, and see if that's any good. 1080p, it's probably going to be the stuff that's branded to look really great. Actually, wait a minute. Well, you want a wide view. Would you think about a camcorder? My C prints. If I showed you a camcorder, would you think about that? Because that might tick a lot of your boxes. Well, no, not AA batteries, is it? Okay, so yeah. Tricky. You've got a very interesting requirement. And a lot of the newer cameras, what they're starting to do is they're starting to get away from AA batteries now. They give you their own dedicated battery that you have to charge up, which is limiting than what we can show you. All we can do is look at older cameras. And for that, you're going to have to go on the second-hand market, I reckon. We're not going to be able to get you a new one for that. Where we got? Okay, where am I here? Let's bring up we've got a few questions dropping in, I think. Okay. Is there an probably to spend more, agree mobile phones? Hi. What's the best lens for photo? Okay. What kind of photos, Mitchin? Give me a bit more information. Because lenses-wise, there's loads out there. When I say loads, I mean like loads. So, for example, that's a good lens. That's a good lens. Oh, wow. Kevin, that looks like a nice. Let me bring that up. Let me have a look at that. Okay. Handheld stabilizer and video LED lights, skateboarding. Oh, hey, see, that's what I'm talking about. See, that would look really nice. It'll give you good audio. So you're better off spending the money there than on the camera because you're using your mobile phone. And yeah, that'll get you a lot better. Your light will give you a bit of fill light. All you got to do is spend a bit of time learning it. As in, like, do a lot of test footage, see what works, and then move that into the films and documentaries. But yeah, that's a beautiful one. And in addition to that, you can get like additional things as well, like the battery bank and extending the capabilities. So yeah, that's a good option there. It's basically like what I've got, but you're getting a few more extras with your one. So yes, let me get this right. Okay, I just had to bring that back up again. Okay, there. Yeah, no worries, Kevin. Thank you. Hopefully it goes well for you. Yeah, hopefully if I see you on YouTube or somewhere, I've got a channel on YouTube, so you can check that out and I'll follow me or something. I'll check out your stuff. It'll be interesting to see what you end up making with that. Okay, where are we now? So let me go back to our other chaps there. Okay. Can you show the A79? I'm using a Rode NT USB for live streaming and some videos where I don't mind having camera in shot. I have a Boya shotgun. I don't like. Yeah, I've got the Boya. Is it? No, you got a different one. Didn't you? I've got that one. Well, I've used that one, but I wasn't too impressed with it. Yours is the shotgun would be yes, which I can get out of shot under 200. Okay. Okay, so now the microphones, are you using them for a specific purpose? Did you say you podcasting, or what's the difference between the SM7B is like out of shot, isn't it? You said 200. You're not gonna get the Shure for 200. Oh, you like the sound of it? Okay. Okay, so are you gonna be the one thing that you'll get is? Let me show you a comparison. So let me see if I can. Okay, so right now, let me turn my music off. How does this audio sound to you? So does this sound acceptable? Are you listening with headphones? What you'll need to do is, no matter which shotgun mic you get, you're not going to get the nice quality of a mic that you've got close to you. No matter which mic you use, if it's close enough, it'll sound amazing. The minute you start pushing it away, like I could have a shotgun mic out of shot. When I tested them, the audio wasn't as good as this. It just because I use a lot of podcasting as well, so I do a lot of talking on podcasts, and this is just okay. It's in shot, but I learned to live with it. It may not look nice, but it depends on what you're doing for that purpose. So yeah, that's a quick little look, and that's not even on the best levels yet. I just put it on live stream to give you like a view of at least something. Okay, so Kevin sorted out over there. I'm just going to keep an eye on all our guys here, make sure I'm not missing any chats. Come over here. Are we over here live? Okay, beautiful. Just make sure that messages are dropping in. Okay, talking head and mic out of shot. Okay, let me see what we got here. I would say at your price, I'm just going to update my carousel so I can show you it. Let's see what comes up on Amazon. NTG2 is apparently up there. Audio Technica's 29% off. This might be an option for you, is my thing on. Let me add them in. Let me bring them up on screen. I'll show you them. Return to live stream. Okay, there's an Audio Technica 8875, which is currently on deal and is under 200, so it might be an option for you. Let me check the stats on this one. Okay, here. So let's go to my screen there. Hopefully my thingy follows me over there. Okay, there. So we've got Audio Technica 8875R condenser. But it's down to the quality. I haven't used that, so I can't tell you how the quality is going to be. But that seems like it was $230. It's come down in price, so it may be an option for you to keep an eye on. Okay, we got dynamic, yeah, condenser mic. But yeah, it depends now. It's all going to be relevant to your budget. In mics, the more you get to a certain point where it's difficult. It's difficult. I think what you're going to do is, I've just got used to the fact that even if I spend a couple of grand, the mic is not going to sound the same as me having a mic close to me, based on like how I've tested it. I've done loads of videos about microphones, so you might have seen them, but they were older videos. I've got a whole new series of videos coming about microphones, which are scheduled. So actually they're done, but I've got like 80 videos scheduled, so I don't have to worry about them. They come out every couple of days. So keep an eye on the channel. You'll see more of them coming out as I test those. And yeah, let me know what you end up doing, because it'll be interesting to follow your journey. Let's have a look at some more. Okay, we're over there. Are we okay over here? I think. Okay, there, that's fine. So now what we're doing, we're back over on here, and we're going to be saying, yeah, it's been a long time since I've done oh yeah, sorry, I missed your chat totally. Same as my username. It's the same as my username, Kevin. Sorry, I didn't see your thingy. Okay, there, and let's check over here. Oh yeah, Wicked, you still here? That's nice. But yeah, it'll be good to see how you end up doing it. Thank you, nice one. But yeah, there's some amazing people that make really good quality videos with their mobile phones, and you'll be one of them. Just learn it and take your time, and just remake stuff until it looks right to you. Because some people have an eye for really good quality, and once that you get that eye, you'll be like, oh, okay, that looks that good because of this, this, and this, and then you basically copy what that is. Is it the lighting? Is it the way the lens is held? Is it the angle? Is it the shots? Is it the cutting? Is it the editing? All these things will, and your phone, you can do all of that. So you don't have to buy like a dedicated computer. As soon as you get a camera, you have to buy a computer to download it, to edit it, and that gets a bit big. Yeah, so it'd be one of those. So I reckon what you could do technically is if you're at a sitting desk. Is my auto caption stop working there? Okay, there. So if you get to a desk, you could probably technically put it just out of shot below you, as in technically there, and that would still be like up to here. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, take care, and you have a nice day as well. Weather's getting a bit better now, so yeah, take care. Thanks, Kevin, for dropping in. Okay, where are we now? Over here. Let me make sure we're good. That captioning software, is that any good? Because it kind of freezes every now and again. I'm testing it out. Okay, the Rode NT. Let's have a look at that. Let's see what's showing for Rode NT. Oh, okay, yes. Okay. And what's the one you said? Show SMV7. Are you using any type of mixing board, and are you just gonna have one mic? Have you thought about going the opposite route and getting okay, MV7? Yeah, over the road I'll get the MV7. I've heard good things about them, and the way the noise, but then you might have to. What are you going into? Are you going straight into your computer, or have you got a audio interface? USB. Okay. Ideally, the main thing that you're gonna. Let me see if I can show you my. Let me see if I can show you. I've got a camera set up here, so maybe I can show you this on live stream. If I go here and do. Oh yeah, beautiful. Okay, so right here you'll see. Just there is my mixer. I actually have a standing desk and a sit-down desk, and I have two microphones. So how that works is they both go into there via XLR, so the actual heavy lifting is done by my mixing board, and the mixing board just lifts everything up to give you that nice pro sound feel. So maybe if you get a cheaper mic, this mic's only like $100. It's not like a fancy mic. It's the Shure something. I can check the name of it. But when you plug it in via XLR, you've got power coming through if it needs power, phantom power. If not, you can adjust the voice settings on the mixer to make your voice sound nice. Do you want it to be heavier? Do you want it to be like lighter? You can do all that in the mixing board. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about that. But yes, let me come back over here. And we have got about 15 minutes or so. I'm not going to do too much. My plan is to do like an hour session today, but I think we're hitting quite close to a longer time period here. Let me just make sure how we're doing there. Okay, the chat's refreshed. I did a video about the Samsung XLR and USB mic. Nah, it wasn't that good though. If you're going for ultimate audio, then I don't think that would be a good mic for you either. It's only $100, but if you use it via XLR, it's actually very nice. Which is another USB XLR. Okay, record that audio separately, so cheaper. GoPro possible, but not going. In that case, you could get the A100. Have you looked at the Apeman A100? It's about $90, $100, and the video quality is very good on it. The lenses are actually quite smart, so that might be an option for you there. My C prints. Let me show you a quick example. A100 Apeman. It might have come down in price actually. Yeah, you won't be spoiled for choice if you're doing webcams. But then the thing with the web action camera is it's not going to be AA batteries. So if that's important, interesting. Okay, where are we here? Am I up to date with the? Can I? Okay. That's fine. So let me check if we... Interesting. Let me check if that was okay there. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is I think we're going to cover that, and that was a nice little setup there. What I will do is I will do some future live streams regularly, weekly. They're coming now, so I'm just setting that up for you, so stay tuned for those. I've been able to help a few people today. I will link you some additional options you can check out, but that will be okay there. Perfect. So I wanted to make sure we were fully live there. So also I was testing Restream. Okay. Can I use a DSLR as a webcam for teaching more than 3 hours in a single session? M. Yusuf, thank you for dropping into the live stream. Some of the videos that you've commented on, there's more to the video. I think you've seen a little bit of it and you've not seen the rest of it. If you watch the whole video, I actually explain how long you can live stream for with the cameras. At the moment, I keep using NT USB, or I can also plug this straight into camera. Yes. What you can do, I'll upgrade once I'll wait lessons learned buying cheap gear. None. Yeah, you'll find that. I'll take us some and some Rode shotgun mic. Yes, the money you're going to spend with the Rodecaster and then the Cloud Lifter, yeah, you'll get to a point where you'll think, you know what, it's just get the right gear. Buy once kind of situation. A lot of people will buy cheap and then it won't sound right and you'll slowly move up and progress. You'll see on YouTube the journey of people doing that. But with this kind of setup, you'll see once you start using it regularly, it's just easier and it comes in part of your workflow. It becomes, when it's part of your workflow, you can just make it easier for you. Let me see if I can shoot. Okay. But yeah, I think I'm going to call that a day today. I was going to only do a little session today for like half an hour to test that stuff. But as people have asked questions, I appreciate you dropping in. What we'll do is I'll pick a day, maybe Wednesdays. Every Wednesdays we'll do a live stream and we'll cover like a different topic every time. So we'll look at microphones, we'll look at cameras, we'll look at everything. So thank you for joining. I appreciate you dropping in and I'll see you on the next live stream.